Well, for those of you who are joining, welcome to another edition of SportWorks Talks. I'm Christian Page, and with me today is Francess Lusack. Hi, Francis.
Hey, you can call me Fran.
Thanks. Just checking. It's been Fran for years, and I've been seeing in all the posts going out. It's Francis. So I have it. So hi everybody. Great to have you with us again for this, for joining us this afternoon. As always, please say hi from where you are from in the chat. We'd love to know where you're from. See people dropping in from Bristol to Tokyo, Kent, Philadelphia, gosh, from all over the world. No real surprise there because obviously Fran knows many of you, having worked on, on many games and very much a part of our games family. So wonderful to have you with us this afternoon, Fran, and we're looking forward to hearing your story this afternoon. So as a bit of housekeeping, we'll be doing about a 20-minute presentation, and then we will have about 20 minutes of Q&A, thereabouts, and we'll do our best to answer your questions. Well, Fran will do her best to answer your questions as you have them. As they come up, please also do pop them in the chat, and then so we've got them at the end, and we can move straight into them. Great to have you all with us, and I'm now going to hand over to Fran. Let you begin.
Oh, well, thank you, and welcome, and hi to everybody. Can't believe people are still awake, Tokyo, so it's an honour. So you're all very welcome. And thank you, SportWorks, for the opportunity. When you reached out to me last month and said, do you want to do this webinar? I was like, yeah, I'll do it, because I love talking about accreditation. I really had to dig deep and think, what's really relevant to more than my accreditation team or my events team? And I thought I wanted to talk a little bit about working in events and trying to get life balance. And that's something that for me personally, it's been quite a journey. So I'd like to share with you all how I got into events. A lot of it's very personal, but we're all family here. And I just wanted to give you a bit of an insight, because some people look at me and say, you're so lucky, or I wish I could do what you did. And some of it is luck, but a lot of it's hard work. And there's a lot of glamorous sides to working in the games, but there's also bits that are not as glamorous. So I'd like to take you on a journey. And what we're going to do, I'm just going to get my technology ready. It'll be a second. We're going to look at life before the games. I can't remember that far back, but look at how it all began, the actual games time opportunities that I had, and if I could do it all again, what would I tell young Fran? So, life before the games. As you can probably tell, well, probably not, but I'm actually from Manchester. To me, the greatest city in the world. I'm very proud Mancunian from Burnage. Grew up there, had a really great childhood, went to school there, dancing. I was a cheerleader, went to university there, and had my first real jobs in Manchester. One thing I always had a little bit of regret is that I didn't travel with uni. But I was blessed with work. I had a really great time. In 2001, I found myself in a bit of a dire situation. Life happened. I was working for a company and I loved that job, but unfortunately, I was victim of discrimination, and younger Fran then didn't know how to handle it. If it was now, it'd be a different scenario, but younger Fran just was so blown away that people can actually be treated like that, that I thought about my health and I walked away. And when I walked away at the same time, I found myself having no apartment, and I just split up from my partner, so I had to go home. So 3 big life-changing things happened all at once. And for coping purposes, what do you do best? You go home to mum. So came home to mum and dad, wonderful experience, lots of love, abundance of love. That was week 1. Week 2, it was, right, are you going to get washed? And whilst you're here, do you mind tidying up? It's not a hotel. Week 3, get a job. And I was like, but I don't know what to do. where am I going to work? My life's over. And my parents looked at me and said, we never gave you these opportunities to turn around and be like, woe is me. Get out and get a job. So I went to Manchester City Centre, and at the time, very close to where I live, I went to a recruitment agency and said, I need a job. I can't go home. I need a job. And this girl, bless her heart, she tried everything. She was like, what do you want to do? I was like, well, what do you do? She says, I am a recruitment officer. I recruit people. So I was like, I could do that. And she was quite offended, but then she's like, actually, there's an opportunity to work at the Commonwealth Games in Manchester. So I was like, oh, okay, where are they? She went, in your city. I was like, the what? Commonwealth Games? Had no idea. So I signed up for the interview, got on the phone, got all my family. I said, get anything you can tell me about the Commonwealth Games, because I've got an interview in the morning. Fast tracked the interview. They get in there and they say, you've got to apply to be a volunteer recruitment officer. Never done recruitment before, and I certainly hadn't volunteered. I didn't see the point at the time for volunteering. Don't get paid, what's the point? So I said, okay, let's plug it. Fake it till you make it. What transferable skills can I use to get me through this process? And I had to dig deep. And I had to do a presentation on how I'd recruit people like myself who had no idea that the games were coming and how they could get involved. And it's really, that's how my journey began. I was in the Commonwealth Games, surrounded by event experts, people from Australia who just done Sydney, you know, really energized by people. And I was like, oh my goodness, have I been sleeping? I've missed this. And that was the best games of my life. Home games, opportunities. And from that, I was like, I need to do this more. I really do need to do this more. But still very naive. I didn't realize there's events all around the year, all around the world. As far as I was concerned, my next gig was going to be Melbourne, because clearly I'm the person that's just done that job in Manchester. They'd have to hire me. So wrong. So here's my once in a lifetime opportunity. I've done Manchester. I got to launch the uniform, so used my cheerleading skills to do a fashion show at Big Asda in Hume. Amazing experience. So I applied for Melbourne, and then I get no result. Not even a thank you for an application. And I was really wounded. And that's the first time I had a reality that it's not an entitlement to get a job in the event. So then I was really fortunate that somebody from Melbourne looked at my CV and said, she'd be good for accreditation. So again, challenge number 2, I've never worked in accreditation. So I had to fake it again. All I could tell you about accreditation is that I'd worn one in Manchester. I wanted to go to zones I wasn't allowed to go to because they looked fun, didn't really understand what was happening. So I had to use the opportunity to really embrace and learn about the role. So the challenge for me was to learn it, but also convince the members of the Games family I actually knew what I was doing. And it was the hardest thing I'd ever done, but it was the most rewarding because, again, I got to learn about something and I actually found an interest into it. So after Melbourne, during Melbourne, I was contacted by the Asian Games and they were asking me for references for my team. And anyone that's worked in events knows that games time is not the time to do anything apart from games related work. But for my team, I wanted the best for them. I wanted them to be able to go to the next event and whatever it took, to support them there. I personally wasn't going to Doha because I promised my mum after going to Australia, I would come home. Yeah, that didn't work out. So during that phone call, they said to me, how do you feel about working with the people that you're managing right now and being on the same level as them? And I was like, I'm really not precious. is there an opportunity? They're like, yep, we've created a role, will you come? So I had to break the news to mummy that I wasn't coming home and daddy, and I headed over to the Doha. And that was the event that was such, I think, a big building block in my career as accreditation, because it actually validated that I actually did know the basics of accreditation, and I had a lot to learn. And as well as that, it also gave me an opportunity again to be deep into another culture. I loved it, the food, the people, the heat, everything about it was such a magical experience. And again, the opportunity to just learn what I've done and to make changes and go, actually, I should have done it that way. So Doha was great. Again, promised mum coming home. And then one of my friends said, why don't we go traveling around the world? I had to break the news to my mum. I'm not coming back again. I'm going to go traveling. I should do you a favour. Let's go to Jamaica. We'll all meet as a family, then off you go, you can travel. So I ended up going to Jamaica and saw the World Cup. I thought, I've never done a single sport. And I've never really done a volunteer role. So I'm going to apply for a volunteer position. And I applied for the role, and they called me back and said, no, we want you to be an assistant manager for accreditation. So it's like, okay, here's your car, your apartment, welcome to Jamaica. And it was great because I reconnected with loads of games people. I was really like, yeah, this is awesome. Then I got there and there was a lot of work to do. So again, head down and off we went. I ended up being the tournament accreditation manager. So not only looking after Jamaica, there were 9 islands I had to support, as well as running the operations of the Jamaican office. Again, wonderful experience, but nearly killed me. From there, I was really fortunate to get an opportunity to work in Vancouver. Now, Vancouver is the place where I can actually say, hand on heart, I learned full accreditation. And that's because I was blessed to work with a guy who I tell people he's the Obi-Wan Kenobi of Accred, and that's Toru Kobayashi. And I hope Toru doesn't mind that I name him, but he's a person who, there's nothing he didn't know about accreditation. He taught me so much, and it was such an honor because he didn't feel threatened that, oh, she's going to come and try and take my job. He was just as passionate about it as me. And he actually allowed me to challenge him. And so, for example, we had to do paper forms. And I was like, why do we still use paper? Paper's admin on everyone's side. Can we not move to an electronic process? And, you know, we challenged each other, and we did. We moved on to electronic, and we got about 80% of the National Olympic Committees submitting electronic for the first time at Winter Games. So again, it was such an amazing experience. But not only did he push me to do accreditation, he made me think about sport in general. He's like, Fran, Winter Games, you know, learn about the sport, go and learn how to ski. You know, he took me ice skating with his son. And he's like, you will do sport because it's fun. Don't just do the event part, learn about it. And he helped me get this passion. And I had such an amazing time. So when I got a call from London asking me to come home to work on my home games, I was like, I'm not ready. I'm going to work on local at London 2012, but not yet. I really was enjoying the whole of Canada. Like, I have really close friends there, who I was their bridesmaid for their wedding. So really had a great lifestyle as well as a great work environment. Until the day I didn't have a great lifestyle and I didn't have a great work environment. And this is something that's very personal to me, but I think it's really important that I share it with people, because many people have asked the question, why did you leave Fanok? And I'm now comfortable to tell people why I left Fanok. So working in Canada was amazing. I got asked to go to London and I said no. At the same time I said no, the atmosphere and environment became quite toxic in Vancouver for various reasons. No one's to blame. Sometimes that just happened. And it really affected my health. So I ended up in hospital with a suspected heart attack. And not many people know that. Only well, now you all know that. Suspected heart attack. And they said, you've actually had a panic attack. Whatever's making you be stressed, get away from it, and get away from it now. So called mum and dad, and they were like, get on a plane, we'll pay, go anywhere. But one of my really good friends in Rannoch, she sorted out my flights, and I went to Mexico. And I went there. It was a fancy, fabulous resort. But I went there and I spent the first day just crying. Like that really ugly Oprah Winfrey sobbing cry. I was just spent. I really, really was spent. I was sad about it all. I was sad about the fact that my journey at Vancouver, it came to this point. I was sad about how the environment was and, reflected over it all. So the next day I decided that I'm in Mexico. I can't spend the whole time crying. I'm going to get dressed, go to the bar, have a drink, and then just chill. I ended up getting beer mats and writing on the beer mats, what is it I want from life? Why am I feeling like this? What caused me to be so stressed and worked up? It's just a job. Like, why? Why were you so upset? And I realized really quickly why I was upset. I was upset because it wasn't just a job for me. I was in Canada and they were my family. And people looked at me, and sometimes when you're being genuine, people think you've got an agenda. So for me, I was like really hurt that people would think, my own family would think I was turning against them. And then I had to have a word with myself and thought, but it is just a job. You can't let a job kill you. But then I was like, it's my job. I love my job. So what do I do? So I thought about it and I thought, I don't want to be at that crossroads again. I want to be somebody who does something that they love. And I loved the Olympic movement, the Commonwealth movement. I'm a Commonwealth baby. Born in Britain, mum's Jamaican, dad's Sierra Leonean and Gambian. I'm proud of my history. And yet I sat here going, I'm about to walk away from all of this. But what am I going to do? I don't want to go back to a 9 till 5. I need to work under pressure. I need to work with stakeholders. I need to work with team. I need to work under pressure, but not the pressure that's going to make me sick. So then I sat and it came to me. I really enjoyed working with children and I really enjoyed being part of a family. And as much as my family was saying, come home, have a kid, get married, and I was like, nah, doing the games, I really, really wanted to invest in children because they're our future. And it came to me, it's something that said, be the mum to the motherless. It just kept on saying, be a mum to the motherless. And I was like, oh wow, maybe I should do fostering. So that was it then. I had a plan, dried my eyes, enjoyed the rest of my time in Mexico, and then I came back to Vancouver and I quit. Slight issue, got no money. So great having a plan, but no money, no job. If I was to foster, where would I put these kids? I'm sure my mum and dad didn't want me to take over their home. They just got rid of me. So what was I going to do? Luckily, London 2012 approached me and they said, look, we appreciate what happened wasn't great. And we appreciate you're now at a situation where you had no choice to leave. But think about your future. You love the games. And Rannoch said the same thing. Rannoch were like, we're really sorry you got up to this point. Anything we can do to support you, come back for games time. So that's what I did. I got offered an amazing job in London where it was a case of, I could be really part of building the programme, but didn't have to be the head of the department. I knew that I was doing it because I had a vision. I was going to be a foster carer. I'm going to buy a house, big girl, buy a house, settle back up north. I was going to go to Vancouver and be the team. And it was great. So all well and good. London's my last games. And I get a call. You're approved as a foster carer and we've got a little girl for you. I've got this little girl, and the moment I saw her, my whole world just changed. She looked at me as if to say, help. And I looked at her and said, I don't know if I can, but I'll try. And it was amazing. This little girl has changed my family, but all the people she meets, she has an effect. And when she met people, everyone's like, she's not leaving, you're going to keep her. And I was like, I can't keep her, I'm fostering her to go back to her own family. And they said, no, you're going to keep her. So I got a call, and in the same week, I got a call from the agency asking me to adopt her. And then I got a call from Rio, and they said, we'd like you to come and be the head of accreditation. And I was like, gonna think about it and get back to you. And I put the phone down and I called anybody who was in my phone book. What should I do? I did a poll. 50% were Team Brazil. Like, are you kidding me? What an opportunity. Go to Brazil. You'll get another kid. There's loads of kids. You probably even find kids in Brazil. Go to Brazil. The other 50% were like, don't go to Brazil. You've done your games. You know, you've had an amazing time. It's time for your daughter. And two people, one of them was my mum, that said, why don't you do both? And as many times in my head, I was like, why did she tell me to do both? But it was an amazing experience. But I then took the job and I brought my daughter with me on the journey. It was an amazing experience. It was the hardest thing I've ever done because I stepped out of my comfort zone. I went to a country where I'd never been before. I didn't know the language. I was head of a department and I was a mum, like a real mum. Can't give her away to anybody because it's just me and her there. But the truth was, it wasn't just me and her there. Everybody that we met in Brazil took us on. We were fostered as a family. We were part of not only the family within the organising committee, we were part of the wider community in Rio. So we had such a wide network of support. I had friends and family that came to visit. My friend donated her husband to me for games time so he could look after Aaliyah. So again, best thing I ever did. Both of them. I had my work and my daughter. The challenge that I had was there's an internal belief that I felt that people were judging me because I'm the head of a department, so I must do 99 zillion hours, but also you're a mum, so pick a side. So then that self-belief made me think, right, I want to be a mum, so I can't affect Aaliyah, so I have to give Aaliyah 100%. But then with work, I have to give them 100%. I made a commitment. I have to do right by them. So what I'd do is I'd get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'd be online to deal with Europe and do all my admin. 7 o'clock, wake Leah up. We have breakfast together. I take her to school. And she went to a Brazilian school because I thought, if you're going to have an experience, I want you to have the full experience. I didn't want to put her into an international school. I wanted her to be able to take something away as well. And it was amazing. She was fluent in Portuguese within 2 weeks. I wasn't. She was my personal translator. But yeah, so I took her to school. I go to work. I'd finish work about 6 o'clock, pick her up, bath and bed, and then start working till 11 o'clock. And I made a decision and a commitment that I'd have to do that work schedule because when the weekend came, for the first year and a half, I did no work. That was Aaliyah time. That was family time. And it was really important that I stuck to that because I wanted Aaliyah to have a seamless process. I didn't want her to feel that the games came before her. And I didn't want the games to feel that Aaliyah came before them. And there was times when it was all really, really good. And then again, it wasn't. Because the problem in that equation was I gave my all to the office, I gave my all to my child, and I forgot about me. I was on burnout again. And with the burnout side, I was just running around. And then I thought, I have to create this environment. I am a leader and I've got a fabulous team in Brazil. And I need to practice what I preach, because I was always saying to my team, you know, this is the reality. You're going to work really, really hard, but we have to play hard. We have to enjoy the moments. We need to enjoy Brazil, enjoy our team, enjoy the wider team. But I found I wasn't doing it myself. Once I acknowledged that, and then my team was so supportive, and not just my direct team, but the wider organising committee, my senior management, it was amazing. Life change. It was just truly fabulous. And I realised that to create that balance, I was really fortunate that I had been able to have those relationships and to be strong enough to say, practice what you preach. You know, you want to be a leader, you have to show by example. And as well, you can still have your cake and eat it. So having my cake and eat it means now that I've been blessed that the IOC offered me the role as an advisor in accreditation. And that allows me to still be part of the games, but also be a mum. And I don't think anyone can really truly understand how great a feeling that is, that I get to do what I love, but I get to take my daughter with me. You know, she now has a bigger pin collection than I do. When I go through a room, where's Leah? I'm like, I'm still here. But it's amazing that I've been able to share that world with her and get a balance. And there's people that do say, oh, you know, aren't you lucky you go to Tokyo? I was like, I've worked hard to go to Tokyo, but I also know that I'm very blessed. And my daughter's also blessed too, because wherever she goes, when she's ready to go to uni, I'm telling you, that Games family needs to be ready, because we've got connections all over the world. We've got family all over the world. And it's just something that I think we're very honoured to be in. So what I wanted to share with you guys, and I'm aware that I've been rambling for quite a while, is if you think about it now, we all have an opportunity to restart our lives and we can get off track. So if I had to write a letter to me, I'd say, be me or be you. And it's really important. We're all unique and we all have so much to offer. And we can all write a CV and put buzzwords in and get to an interview stage. We can all rehearse and say things verbatim to get a job. But once you're in that job, you have to show up and you have to deliver. And that's something that people find really challenging. Like, they can get to that stage and then they're like, oh, okay, I can't fake it. So be you, be kind. As I said to you, VANOP was a really difficult time for me, but it's one of the most amazing experiences of my life. And even like going to Rio, I found out after Rio, and this is something that really hurt me, that people were talking about why I left. And they said, oh, don't hire her. Like she quit on VANOP, she just got off. She's a bad hire. And I was really upset about that. And I had to really pray over it and say, you know, I want to have words with this person, but the reality is nobody knows what's going on unless you share your story. I'm not saying that you have to share your story, but just be mindful that there may be a story there. Be focused and driven, which is once you're there, be very clear what your objectives are and what you want to achieve. You know, it's don't go and work in an event just for money. You won't be happy. You know, you'll be tired, that's a given, but to be tired and unhappy, it's not worth it. Be honest and open, so honest with yourself. Like, if you don't think you're able to do a role, be really honest and have that conversation with yourself. If you feel that you're not getting support, have that conversation, but also be prepared for someone to give you honest feedback as well. Be balanced. And I say that, and it's something that I have to work on daily. And that is, yes, do a job that you love, do a job to pay your bills, but also invest in you as a person, whether that's your physical health, your mental health, education, everything. Be balanced. It can't all be about one thing, because it really does impact your life if you're not happy in all areas of your life. Be proud. Like for me, the biggest thing for me is when I got asked to do this opportunity, I forget what I've done in the past. So when I was looking for photographs, I was digging through, and the memories that flood back, and the traumatic moments or the fun moments, you forget about it all, and you should be proud. Like when I was a kid, I used to say, yeah, I do want a Truffty badge, which is a Manchester term for like, look at me, I'm awesome. And I forget, I really do forget like what I did to get here. And some of that is because something I want to talk about is being conditioned to think that you don't deserve to be there and you have to fight to prove it. So yeah, be proud and be thankful. At the time, you might not find a reason to be thankful, but afterwards, the universe shows you a way that you have to give thanks. Whatever you believe in, I'm not saying that you have to believe in God or anything, but just be thankful for the opportunity. At the time when I was experiencing my first discrimination that I can remember, I was devastated. I actually thank the opportunity, because without it, I wouldn't be here today being able to be proud of what I've achieved in that time. So thank you all for signing up. And thank you, Christian, for giving me the opportunity. I'm quite emotional because it's my life. And I kind of put it out there, but I am happy to answer any questions. And if anyone wants to inbox me privately about the struggle as a female, I'm open.
Wow. Thanks, Fran. You've moved me, and I can see in the chat that you've moved a lot of people. And as I think Nadia Bonjour just said a beautiful comment here, thank you, Fran, for being so generous and sharing your truth unfiltered, related to a number of your challenges and experiences. And I think that is a really beautiful summation. So thank you. What a journey. You say there about everyone has a story, and I think that's a really key point. And it isn't about sharing it, but I'm so grateful that you took the time to share yours with us today. As someone who's, faced challenges, faced the joy, you've looked at the good, the bad, the ugly, you're an inspiration to me personally. Thank you, and I'm sure to many of the people watching today. So thanks for that.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see some questions popping up, but there's a couple of things that you said in your sharing your journey today, and you also mentioned again at the end about your first job, which was really sounded like one of the motivators to move you forward, but it was about discrimination, and in the framework of currently in the current global climate, what was that experience like for you?
At the time, it was very confusing. I worked for an organisation, I'm not even going to promote them. So yeah, I worked for an organisation that it was my first job out of uni. So as far as I was concerned, I had the education level, I passed the interview, and I was given a job. And I worked for a contractor, and he was so impressed by what I did. He said, when I leave, I'm putting you forward to do my job. Thank you, you've been awesome. And the first red flag was everybody got a pay rise as a team leader. It was a basic percentage, and then if you'd done exceptional work, you got more money. I got a pay rise that basically says, thank you for showing up for work. None of my achievements, or say, like I've saved the company, I think at the time, for a quarter, it was like £2 million. And I just got a pay rise for showing up. And there's a guy that didn't show up, I got an extra 3%. And I looked at him, and he was my mate. And he was like, and that's the first sign. When I actually applied for the job that my boss told me to go for, I was told by HR that the general manager told me to not apply because they're not accepting my application. And that's the first time it was really overt discrimination. And I was just confused. So my first thing was I was confused. I just didn't understand it.
And do you think, when you look forward now to where we are today, have we, there's more to do, clearly, but has things evolved, especially in the event industry?
I'm going to be really, because I am honest. I am one of very few Black women, who are in senior positions within the event industry, right? And I find throughout my history, I've been the poster girl that's got rolled out. Fran again. And I always found when they did that, the first time they asked me, I'd be like, yay! And then I'd be like, no, poster girl. And then I'd be like, yay, let people know there's Black people here. No, don't want to do it. And so the picture that was on this link for the webinar, that was from London 2012. And that's the first time I had internal conflict. I was like, I want to do it because I've done really well to get to London, but then I don't want to be the poster girl. So it's really challenging. So I think there's a lot more work to be done. And I think for me, it's really hard because in the UK, we've got a Windrush scandal. I'm Jamaican, I'm Sierra Leonean, I'm Gambian, but I'm also British. And the difference between me and somebody that's been sent back through Windrush is that my grandparents had the appropriate documents. That's the only difference. So I think there's a lot of work still to be done. I'm really happy that we're in an environment that people are open. I think it starts with everybody. When I lead teams, I make sure that they're diverse teams. I personally don't like you are BAME. I'm not. I'm Fran from Burnage. I work hard and I've earned my stripes. But now I appreciate why we have to have that, because some people are still not there yet. So yeah, it's been a challenge.
And on that point, though, you also mentioned that you're a woman in a leadership role, and I'm just sort of following on here from Nadia's question as well. Is do you find that has made it challenging for you as well?
I think I'm really blessed I've got the parents that I've got, because from being young, they said, you are no different to anybody else. Yeah, treat people how you want to be treated. Everyone bleeds like you, everyone poos like you. So when you go in there, just present yourself in a respectful way. And I kind of put blinkers on and ignore it and still stay there. Like I've been sent into governments and been shouted at, not personally, like the organising committee's been shouted at, and I've gone like this. I was like, I still need to talk to you about something. And that's part of my fun role. I love that experience where I can tell they're looking at me like, not only is she a female, she's a Black female, what can she tell me? And at the end, we're going for beers together and we're like, we did this, it's a success, and we share the success. So yeah, it's a challenge, but you personally have to maybe push harder in some places, but don't take no for an answer. If you're good at your stuff, go for it.
Yeah, I mean, you've said that repeatedly about working hard, and that is part of the game's journey. You've got to keep turning up and keep doing it. But you've had some great mentors along the way, so Turo as well. And so now, have you accepted the mantle of Jedi?
I am still learning. I am Luke Skywalker.
Yes.
We're always still learning. The honest thing is that accreditation, it can be the same or it can evolve, and I'm all for evolving. Like, just because we did it one way doesn't mean it's the best way. And so I learned so much from my team. And I think it's because I give them an environment where I allow them to grow. So they teach me new things. I'm not afraid to say, I don't want to do it. Tell me about GDPR.
No, it's such a refreshing perspective, and it's great to hear a leader such as yourself sharing that's the philosophy. So it is about learning. I'm going to go to some of the questions in the chat from Michelle. There is a beautiful word called serendipity, which means our life meetings that are unpredictable and happy. What was your serendipity in your inspirational journey? Thanks for the question, Michelle.
Gosh, so many. I think the first one was when I worked in the Commonwealth Games. One of my roles was to do the technology requirements for all the workforce operations. So how many mobiles did we need? How many radios? And they were still looking for contractors to fulfill this role. And the company that got very nice to me, they did mobiles and radios. So literally within that week, I was invited to the Christmas party because all my friends were there. So I went, I love a party. And I went to the toilet and there she was. And she went, oh, hello. I went, hi, how are you? You know, inside, it wasn't that, but hi, how are you? And she goes, oh, you look very well. I said, I am, thank you. I said, actually, I thought about you. I needed some mobile phones. And I thought about this organisation, but then I remembered what happened. Happy Christmas, and walked away. And to me, that was my moment. And I always believe that you will always have that little bit of karma, serendipity moment.
Yeah, there we go. Good example. So we've got a question here, and interesting you raised it about technology as well. I thought we always gave you phones.
Oh, I was finding printers from you.
Oh, printers, we don't give you printers. So next question here from Lijon. Thanks for your question. It's so glad to hear your story. Ever thought about how to find a way to balance games and personal life if pursuing games around the world? Obviously, yeah, it's a lot of thought. Yeah,
so I had a really good idea. I was like, why don't I do childcare for games families? There's money in it. Like, see, you'd be interested?
Look, I've got a couple of kids now. I'm thinking, gosh, how am I going to do this?
I'm really fortunate. I have made some great relationships throughout my career, and I have been able to work on events at games time, and I've got a really great support network that helped me with Aaliyah because I'm single. So I'm really fortunate that I can still continue. But I do recommend to people, don't be put off by having a child, because she, I can't stress enough, she is living her best life. And people don't believe it. She goes, oh yeah, my mum, she works for the Olympics. And people come to me and say, are you an athlete? It's like, admin, not athlete. So I recommend that, think about it. Wherever you go in the world, the structure's put in place. My challenge was coming to terms that I needed support and I couldn't do it by myself. And that's when I had to get a nanny. And I thought I'd never do that. Best thing ever.
Absolutely. Important. I mean, yeah, and you also had the pressure because, you know, you kind of said your mum was waiting for you to come home how many times, and it was like, yeah, the pressure to come home sometimes is greater than to stay on the road, but you got the balance right. So there's another great question here. Hi, Katrina. Hi, Fran. We were also lucky to have worked with you at VANOC. Curious, what do you find to be most effective way to stay on the games world's radar in between games, you know, from one games to the next? Yeah, good question.
I've made so many friends. Like when I go to work in an event, I go to work, but I go to play. I'm not going to pretend. So I make sure that I make networks of people and stay in contact with them between the events and keep in touch. Like, oh, that person's gone to work in Qatar. I'd like to go and work in Qatar. Hi, is there any opportunities in Qatar? So I recommend that you keep your networks going and not just like people's LinkedIn posts. Check in. How are you? How's life? You know, utilize the networks.
Yeah, no, really important. Great tip. I would say, yeah, the connections are incredibly rich. Keep them up for sure. This is great ways. Good tip. So there's another question here from Danielle. When you enter a room and meet your team for the first time, what is the first thing you say to them? How do you set the stage tone for your team?
Again, when you got a team, you can't fake it. This is me. I work hard, and I be real with them, because I think a lot of people think I want to work for an event and they just see the glamorous side of it. And I'll say, look, welcome to accreditation. It's not sexy. It's data. It's hard work. It's begging people for information. It's begging them again. It's chasing them again. But you are part of the bigger operation, which, you've got an important role. But you have to make sure that you get the most out of it. So what is it that you want to get? And I set them a challenge, and I'll say, right, what's your personal goal? And what's your career goal? And I meet with them. I have regular meetings. I know we all work in the open plan office, but I always say my door's always open. And I tell them that we are a family, and we need to make sure that not only are they my family, that their families are part of the games as well, because I was very conscious that we do things like, oh, we're doing a work thing. You can't come, it's a games thing. So wherever opportunity, I used to include the families, because I knew that I need to butter them up at games time, saying, you're not having them back for a few weeks.
You're not going to see them for about 100 days.
Yeah.
Give them a hug now.
Yeah. So it's really about just being genuinely real with them and tell them the real deal and say, there's a job if you want to leave, but this is how we work.
But you also need to get that support from the family of your team, because inviting the partners and having them a part of the family, it's essential. From my experience, I totally echo that point. So look, we're running time. I'm going to finish with this great question here from Niti. What do you dream for Leah's future? Is there a gamer in her? Great question.
Little nimble fingers, great for laminating. I think for Leah, to be really honest with you, like for me when I was growing up, my parents really instilled that you have to get a degree, you have to be a banker, a lawyer, a doctor, or work in sciences. And then they realised that actually I naturally became this person. And I'd like to think I want the same for Leah. Now, she's already told me that she's going to be an Olympic athlete in gymnastics, so look out, Fig. She's going to be a singer on X Factor, and she's going to be a vet and part-time hairdresser. So anything she wants to do, I think she's going to be fabulous at it, because she's got so much energy, and I think she does take after me in that you can do anything you want. So yeah, anything. The world's her oyster. And just as I said, I'm glad we've got Games family all over the world. We can keep an eye on her wherever she ends up.
That's awesome. And I'll tell you what, she's got an awesome role model in you. I think, we learn from by who we watch, and I think, she's got amazing opportunities ahead of her. So I want to say thank you. Look, we could keep talking for hours, as we do. It's been awesome having you share your journey. As you said, the authenticity and keeping it real. I wouldn't expect anything less of you, to be perfectly honest. And I'm so proud of what you've done and what you've achieved, and looking forward to seeing what you do next. And want to say thank you for being with us all here this afternoon. To everybody online, thank you again for participating. Great questions. Some really, really beautiful comments and kind comments in the chat there. So thanks for joining us. Fran, any last word?
I just want to say on record, thank you for making me do a triathlon and being my swimmer when I decided to go around on the bike and learn a sport. So thank you very much. And thank you for the opportunity, SportWorks. It's been amazing. And yeah, thanks guys for tuning in.
Brilliant. All right, well, take care, stay safe. Hugs to Leah, and we'll see you soon.
Okay, take care. Bye.
Cheers, everyone. Bye-bye.